I'm going to demonstrate the use of the multi-tool. That's to activate the tool. It's found right over here. It kind of looks like a little bit of a star. Clicking on it opens the control screen on this side, as well as the action functions over here. So it's called multi-tool because it can perform several functions. The first one being any of the functions. To activate them, you need to click once. You click on the model and you apply a plane onto the model. Clicking again applies another one. Clicking on the plane removes the model. Clicking on the model removes the plane. Sorry. So I select a single plane. I can select the plane. I go over here and I say trim top, and it just cuts off a piece of the top. Cutting off the top or the bottom if necessary allows us to eliminate unnecessary parts of the model, which results in us using less material when we fabricate. So it's quite an important function, especially in today's age of printing. Sending a large model just wastes material. So trimming is important. The thing to notice with the multi-tool is that it only trims along the plane. So you see that red line that's being drawn there? It only trims along that plane. You cannot trim at an angle. So if I select the plane at the bottom, I select it and I say trim bottom, it'll cut off the bottom of the model. So that is the trim option. Easy to operate. Clicking the plane removes the plane. Clicking on the plane, clicking on the model adds a plane. I'm going to undo those changes. Note that undoing the undo and undo all change affect the changes that happened while in the tool. It doesn't affect anything that happened outside of the tool. To undo or redo the changes outside of the tool, you need to use the global undo and redo, which are accessible once you're out of this or any other tool. Okay, moving right ahead. The next thing we have is we click a single plane. And I'm going to just use the arrow button or the right mouse button and move it to show you I'm orientating the model. I'm making no change. How it's applied a plane on the model, and the plane has these little control points. I'm going to click anterior. It's going to orientate the model for us. If I then click on a single point on the plane and I click on the bending action, this one right over here, and then I move hold down the left mouse button, move the mouse, it has the effect of repositioning or realigning the model. So if I move it to that position, I release it. Now when I use the right hand, I put it in, I've just changed the view and I click anterior, it's in a new position. So this is now what they call a new aligned view. You can see that it's kind of changed the angle. When I say done, it will correct this and correct all the slices, all the little the red lines that you see will all be unified, and they will be back in the correct order. If I select a point in the middle of the plane and the action tool, okay, so only got one. If I do everything, if I select a point on the plane and I select the action, I can do one level of alignment. If I select a separate point, I can then do action in two planes at once. Selecting the single plane now gives us adjustment in just the basically you're looking at the ML plane, and then if I do it if I select the point in the middle of the plane, it's making a change in two of the planes at the same time. If I select the front one, so this is, once again, it's an alignment option, but it's also the application of the plane and the action points, which is used throughout the software. It's once we become familiar with them, it's much easier to operate the software in general. I'm going to just undo all. If I select two planes, I'm now out of alignment and into action. So one of the first things we can do with two planes, if I don't want it quite there, I'll just click on it, remove it, maybe, and place it there. Now, if I select the plane, I select the up and down arrow, then when I extend, I actually am lengthening the model. Unlike when with plaster where you add material to the distal end, we're adding material to increase the length between 2 points. We can also go over here, say I want 1 centimeter, go to extend, and because I've selected the point on the plane right over here, it's going to apply it right there. I click extend and it'll give me exactly 1 centimeter of extension. Okay, so that would be the extend, and then I could of course hold down the left button. I could do shorten the model, or they're reversed at the same time. If I put in here -1 and I push extend, then it will once again do the same action quantified by exactly -1, and of course in centimeters, so it'd be 1 centimeter. And so therefore, when I click extend, it reduces the model exactly by -1. So that would be an example of extending or shortening the model. Another example would then be two planes. I click on the plane, I click on the bend option, click on the plane, and then when I move it, I bend it. So had I taken a scan or a cast and then scanned it with too much flexion, I could very easily just modify it. The amount of modification is being displayed at the top. So I could then modify it. The way I'm modifying it here is I'm holding the left mouse button down and I'm moving the mouse. Very good. Okay. If I were to select, let me undo that. Not a very appropriate tool for a BK, but if I were to use a lordosis tool just to demonstrate its function, I could get two planes to move at once. So it would be useful. Lordosis, not ideal for a BK, but it does show the function of this particular tool in the multi-tool. I'm going to undo those changes. I'm going to take an interior view and I'm going to just demonstrate once again how I could correct tibia torsion. Not most probably the ideal, once again ideal for BK, but definitely useful in other models. The movement is controlled by holding down the left mouse button and moving the mouse. And it can also, of course, be done exactly the same way, twisting and so forth, by using the quantifiable amount of change. The final option would be, if I select the plane, I could then select Translate ML. This would not really be too helpful in a BK, but it would, could be used especially in spinal. So the function of this tool we should just be aware of how the tool functions. So that would allow us to make those adjustments. And then if I click once again undo, I'm back in the model. Over here I have the definition of the shape left and right. The reason why when I click lateral, it's going to the lateral is because I've defined it as a left. If I change the definition to right, I click lateral, it just moves the other side. There's no change made to the model at all. It's still the same shape. It's just that it's being defined differently. So it is a left, so I'm going to leave it as left, and when I click lateral, it moves to the lateral. This is a very simple but quite effective tool that can do many functions, basically allowing you within 2 or 3 tools you would be able to complete your entire modification. That is a demonstration of the multi-tool.